Kim Dae-ho walked through the long crystal hallway toward the great meeting room. His shoes made soft sounds on the smooth floor. The walls around him glowed with blue light that came from inside the crystal itself. He had walked this path many times before, but today felt different. He carried a small bag with papers and data files. Inside were reports about human achievements from the past year, new medical treatments that could save millions of lives, better ways to grow food on dead planets, faster ships that used less fuel, all things that could help everyone in the galaxy. But Kim knew what would happen. The same thing that always happened. The meeting room was huge. The ceiling went up so high that Kim could barely see the top. 12 large tables formed a circle. In the center, each table had a different shape and size to fit the aliens who sat there. The Vorthak table looked like a giant honeycomb. 6 insect-like creatures sat around it. Their black eyes never blinked, and their thin arms moved in quick, sharp motions. They controlled most of the galaxy's mining operations. The Luminari had no real table at all. 3 floating beings of pure light hovered in the air. They glowed like small suns and spoke without moving their mouths. Their voices came from everywhere at once. The Krosan Empire had the biggest table. It was made of dark metal and covered with weapon displays. 4 tall gray aliens sat there in military uniforms. Scars covered their faces, and medals hung from their chests. They owned the largest army in known space. 9 other alien species filled the remaining tables. Each one controlled different parts of the galaxy. Trade routes, technology centers, fuel supplies, communication networks. Together, they made all the important decisions. In one corner of the room sat a small, plain table. It had 1 chair and a simple computer screen. This was where Kim sat, the human observer seat. Park Hye-jin sat in the gallery above the main floor. She was one of the smartest engineers that humanity had ever produced. For the past 5 years, she had been working on a new communication system. It could send messages across the galaxy in seconds instead of months. She watched Kim take his seat and felt her heart sink. Today, she was supposed to present her invention to the council, but she already knew they would not listen. Lee Tae-min stood near the back wall in his dark blue uniform. He commanded humanity's small patrol fleet, 50 ships that kept the peace in human space and helped other species when they needed it. The Krosan Empire had asked him to escort their warships through human territory again. They never said, please. They never paid for the service. They just expected humans to help. The meeting began when Supreme Arbiter Velkin floated down from the ceiling. He was an ancient being that looked like a giant jellyfish made of silver metal. His voice boomed through the room without any warmth. The Council will hear reports from all member species, Velkin announced. One by one, the aliens gave their reports. The Vorthak talked about new mining worlds they had claimed. The Luminari discussed their bioship production. The Krosan Empire showed videos of their latest military victories. Each report took about an hour. The aliens asked questions and made comments. They argued about trade deals and territory borders. They made plans for the future. Kim waited and waited. Finally, after 6 hours, Velkin's voice filled the room again. Observer Kim, you may give your brief report. Kim stood up. He had been giving these reports for 30 years. Every year, the time got shorter. Humanity has developed new medical technology that can cure the Red Death Plague, Kim began. We offer to share this with all council species at no cost. The Vorthak representative, Hive Speaker Zan, made a clicking sound. Human medicine is too simple. Our bodies are more complex. Kim continued. We have also created new farming methods that can grow food on dead worlds. These methods could feed millions of hungry beings across the galaxy. A Krosan general waved his hand. We do not trust alien food production. We make our own supplies. Finally, Kim said, Engineer Park Hye-jin has invented a new communication system. Messages that used to take months to send can now be delivered in seconds. The Luminari's voice whispered through the air. Young species often think they have improved old technology. Usually they are wrong. Kim looked around the room. Not one alien seemed interested. Not one asked questions or wanted to see the data. They all stared at him with bored expressions. Thank you, Observer Kim, Velkin said. The council will consider your report. Kim knew they would not consider anything. His reports went into a digital file that no one ever read. 30 years of human contributions, and the aliens acted like they did not exist. The meeting continued for 6 more hours. The aliens discussed a trade war between two species. They planned military actions against pirates. They set new rules for space travel. Humans had stopped 3 wars in the past 10 years by sharing intelligence about enemy movements. Humans had saved millions of lives with medical supplies during the Great Plague. Humans had designed the safety systems that kept space stations from exploding. But when it came time to vote on important matters, humanity had no voice. Park Hye-jin left the gallery early. She could not watch anymore. Her communication invention could change everything. Ships could coordinate across vast distances. Families separated by space could talk to each other instantly. Emergency calls could reach help in seconds instead of hours. But the aliens did not care. Lee Tae-min received a message on his communication device. The Crozon Empire wanted his ships to escort another military convoy. No payment, no thanks. Just an order disguised as a request. He had lost 12 good officers last year helping the Crozon fight pirates. The aliens never even mentioned their sacrifice. As the meeting ended, Kim packed his papers back into his bag. The medical data that could save lives, the farming techniques that could end hunger, the communication technology that could connect the galaxy, all of it ignored. He walked back through the crystal hallway, but this time, he was not alone. Park Hye-jin and Lee Tae-min walked beside him. None of them spoke until they reached their small ship in the docking bay. 30 years, Kim said quietly. 30 years of this. They treat us like we are children, Park Hye-jin replied. Like our ideas do not matter. They use our help when they need it, Lee Tae-min added. But they never thank us, never include us in real decisions. Kim looked back at the crystal building where the aliens were still meeting, making plans for a galaxy that included humanity's work, but not humanity's voice. That night, Kim sent a coded message to Earth. It was short and simple, but it would change everything. Protocol 7. Begin the silence. On Earth, President Lim Chan-woo read the message in his office. He had been waiting for this day for years, the day when humanity would finally stop being the galaxy's ignored servants. He picked up his communication device and sent messages to every human colony, every space station, every ship in the fleet. The message was even shorter than Kim's. Come home. Across the galaxy, humans began to pack their things. Scientists closed their research labs. Engineers shut down their projects. Doctors stopped treating alien patients. Traders canceled their routes. No announcements, no angry speeches, no dramatic exits. Humanity simply began to disappear, and the aliens did not even notice at first. After all, how important could the humans really be? They were about to find out. Choi Ji-woo sat in her office on Trading Station Alpha, looking at the long list of contracts on her computer screen. Each line represented deals with alien species across the galaxy. Food shipments to Vorthak mining worlds, medical supplies to Crozon military bases, fuel deliveries to Luminari bioships. For 15 years, the Human Trade Consortium had been the backbone of galactic commerce. Humans were reliable. They delivered on time. They charged fair prices. Most importantly, they went places other species would not go, the dangerous asteroid fields where pirates hid, the radiation zones around dying stars, the empty spaces between, galaxy arms where most ships would get lost. Humans went everywhere. Choi Ji-woo began typing cancellation messages. Due to internal restructuring, all shipping contracts are terminated effective immediately. We apologize for any inconvenience. She sent the same message to 3,000 alien companies. Then she started shutting down the trading posts. Nexus Station in the Outer Rim went dark first. The alien merchants who came to trade found empty docks and silent communication channels. The massive cargo ships that usually carried human goods simply were not there. Beta trading post in the Crozon sector followed. The military officers who came to buy medical supplies found the station abandoned. The automated systems politely directed them to seek alternative suppliers. Suppliers that did not exist. One by one, the trading posts that connected the galaxy went quiet. Dr. Yoon So-ra was on Kepler Prime, working in the Terraforming Research Center. For 12 years, she had been part of a joint project to turn dead worlds into living planets. The work was slow and difficult, but they had succeeded on 17 worlds so far. The aliens provided the planets and the raw materials. Humans provided the knowledge and the hard work. Together, they were supposed to make the galaxy a better place. But Yun So-Ra had learned something during those 12 years. The aliens took credit for all the successes. When reporters came to write stories about the new green worlds, they interviewed alien scientists. When awards were given out, aliens received them. When history books were written, aliens were the heroes. Humans were mentioned as technical assistants, if they were mentioned at all. Yun So-Ra called her team together. 37 human scientists from around the galaxy. The best terraforming experts that humanity had produced. Pack your research, she told them. We are going home. What about the projects? Asked Dr. Kim Jae-ho, her lead botanist. We are in the middle of terraforming 6 worlds. Let the aliens finish them, Yun So-Ra replied. They are the experts, remember? That is what they tell everyone. By the end of the week, every human scientist had left the terraforming center. They took their research data with them, the biological samples they had collected, the soil treatment formulas they had developed, the weather control techniques they had perfected. The aliens were left with 17 half-finished worlds and no idea how to complete them. Captain Bae Min-ho commanded the Deep Space Monitoring Network. From his ship, the Watchful Eye, he coordinated 50 listening posts scattered across the galaxy. These posts tracked ship movements, monitored communication channels, and watched for signs of trouble. The information they collected was shared freely with all Council species. When Krosan ships moved toward Alterian space, the humans warned both sides to prevent war. When pirates gathered in the Void sector, human intelligence helped the Galactic Patrol find them. When plague ships tried to spread disease, human monitors spotted them early. The aliens never asked for this information. They just expected it. Bae Min-ho looked at his screens showing the positions of every major fleet in the galaxy. Krosan warships gathering near the Spiral Nebula, Vorthak mining vessels heading into disputed territory, Luminari bioships spreading toward the core worlds. For 10 years, this information had prevented wars and saved lives. Now the aliens could find out about threats the same way everyone else did, when it was too late to stop them. Shut down all monitoring stations, Bae-da, Min-ho ordered. Destroy the intelligence archives. We are going dark. One by one, the listening posts stopped transmitting. The early warning network that had kept the galaxy safe simply vanished. On Nexus Prime, Supreme Arbiter Velkan called another council meeting. The Great Crystal Chamber filled with alien representatives as always. But something was different. The human observer seat was empty. Where is Ambassador Kim? Asked Hive Speaker Zan of the Vorthak. Unknown, Velkan replied. He has not responded to communication attempts. War Prime Thractus of the Krosan Empire shrugged. Humans are unreliable. We should remove their seat entirely. The council voted. The human observer chair was taken away and replaced with a decorative plant. A few aliens made jokes about how the plant would be more useful than the human representative had been. Elder Zephyros of the Luminari was the only one who seemed concerned. Perhaps we should investigate their absence. Why waste time? Thractus replied. Humans contribute nothing important. The galaxy will run better without their interference. The other aliens agreed. The meeting continued as if nothing had changed. But across the galaxy, things were changing. The first merchant to notice was Trader Vex, a Alterian businessman who ran cargo ships between the core worlds and the Outer Rim. He arrived at Nexus Station expecting to pick up medical supplies for a plague outbreak on Rigel 7th. The station was empty. No humans. No supplies. No explanation. Computer, Vex called out. Where are the medical supplies I ordered? Please contact alternative suppliers, the station computer replied. What alternative suppliers? Information not available. Vex searched. The Galactic Trade Database. For 15 years, humans had supplied 70% of all medical equipment. He found 3 other companies that claimed to make the same products, but when he contacted them, they could only produce small amounts. at much higher prices. The plague on Rigel 7 spread for 3 more weeks before enough medicine arrived. 2 million beings died. Commander Nexus of the Altarian Navy had a different problem. Her patrol ships were supposed to escort a convoy through the pirate nebula. For years, human intelligence had provided safe routes through the dangerous region. Now, the intelligence reports had stopped coming. "Plot a course through the nebula," Nexus ordered her navigator. "Sir, we have no current information about pirate positions. Use the old reports." "Sir, the last human intelligence report is 6 weeks old." Nexus decided to risk it. Her convoy entered the nebula using outdated information. 30 pirate ships were waiting in ambush. Half the convoy was destroyed before Nexus could retreat. The Vorthak faced a different crisis. Their hive cities depended on food shipments from agricultural worlds. For 12 years, human cargo ships had delivered grain, vegetables, and protein supplements on schedule. Now, the food ships had stopped coming. Hive Mother Zithara called an emergency meeting. "Where are our food supplies?" "The human trading companies have stopped operations," reported her aide. "We are searching for replacement suppliers." "How long will our reserves last?" 3 months, Hive Mother. The Vorthak tried to find other species willing to transport food to their distant hive worlds, but human ships had been the only ones willing to make the dangerous journey through radiation zones and asteroid fields. Other species wanted double the payment for half the cargo. In the Crozon Empire, War Prime Thractus planned his invasion of the Spiral Nebula sector. His military advisors spread star charts across the table. "The enemy has 40 ships hidden in the nebula," reported Intelligence Chief Kartok. "How do you know this?" Thractus asked. "Our last intelligence report from the Human Monitoring Network." "When was this report made?" Kartok checked his files. 7 weeks ago, War Prime. Get me current information." "The human network has gone silent. We have no new intelligence." Thractus stared at the old star charts. For years, human intelligence had given him perfect information about enemy movements. He had won every battle because he knew exactly where his enemies were. Now he was fighting blind. But the War Prime was too proud to admit he needed help. "We attack as planned," he declared. Dr. Yang Haiwan sat in her office on Earth, reading reports from across human space. Every human colony was reporting the same thing. Business was booming. Without alien interference, human technology had advanced. Faster in 6 months than in the previous 5 years. New trade partnerships with non-council species were bringing in enormous profits. The artificial worlds that humans were building in secret were producing more resources than they needed. "How are the aliens doing?" asked her assistant. Yang Haiwan looked at another set of reports. These came from human agents who remained hidden in alien space, watching and listening. "Trade routes are collapsing," she said. "Food shortages are starting. Military operations are failing, and they still do not understand why." The doctor smiled. For 30 years, the aliens had treated humans like junior partners, like children who needed adult supervision, like servants who should be grateful for any attention. They had ignored humanity's contributions and dismissed their value. Now they were learning what the galaxy looked like without human help, and the lesson was just beginning. Elder Zephyros floated in the center of the Luminary bioship Eternal Glow. The living vessel had served their people for 3 centuries, growing and adapting like all Luminary technology. But something was wrong. The ship's hull was changing color. Instead of the healthy blue-green glow that showed a thriving bioship, patches of sickly yellow were spreading across the walls. The organic corridors that pulsed with life were becoming stiff and gray. "What is happening to our ships?" Zephyros asked the ship's mind, the living intelligence that controlled all bioship functions. The mind's voice whispered through the walls. "The maintenance cultures are failing, Elder. The bacterial colonies that repair our hulls are dying." "Why?" "We have used the same cultures for centuries. The base nutrients have changed. The supplements we received from human traders contained essential compounds. Without them, our repair bacteria cannot survive." Zephyros felt a chill that had nothing to do with space. Across the Luminary fleet, 200 bioships were beginning to die. Their living hulls were hardening into dead matter. Their organic systems were shutting down one by one. How long before complete failure? The elder asked. At current rate of decay, 6 months until total hull failure. The Luminari had built their entire civilization around biotechnology. Their ships, their cities, even their bodies depended on living systems that required constant care. For 50 years, human biochemists had provided the specialized nutrients needed to keep those systems healthy. The Luminari had never bothered to learn how those nutrients were made. They had simply assumed humans would always provide them. Now, their entire fleet was slowly dying in space. War Prime Thractus stood on the bridge of the Crozon dreadnought Iron Fist, watching his invasion fleet burn. The attack on the Spiral Nebula had been a disaster. His 60 warships had expected to face 40 enemy vessels hiding in the asteroid field. Instead, they had flown into a trap containing 200 ships. How did our intelligence fail so badly? Thractus demanded. Intelligence Chief Kartok looked at his outdated reports. The human monitoring network provided accurate information for 10 years. We became dependent on their early warning systems. Are you telling me we forgot how to gather? Our own intelligence? Not forgot, War Prime. We reassigned those resources to other duties. The humans were so reliable that we saw no need for redundant systems. Thractus watched another of his ships explode. The Iron Fist was retreating with only 23 ships remaining. It was the worst military defeat in Crozon history. Recall all fleets, Thractus ordered. Cancel all military operations until we can establish new intelligence networks. That will take years, War Prime. Then we wait years, Thractus replied through gritted teeth. The mighty Crozon Empire, rulers of 1,000 worlds, had been blinded by the loss of human intelligence. Their enemies were already taking advantage, launching attacks on Crozon outposts across the galaxy. Hive Mother Zithara walked through the dying corridors of Hive City Terminus. Once these tunnels had buzzed with millions of Vorthak workers. Now they were nearly empty. The food crisis had started slowly, a few missed shipments, some delayed deliveries. Nothing that seemed serious at first. But as the weeks passed, the situation became desperate. The Vorthak had built their hive cities on worlds with no natural food sources. They depended entirely on imports from agricultural planets. Report on food reserves, Zithara commanded. Worker drone Kex crawled forward on 6 legs. Reserves depleted in 3 Vorthak sectors. Population reduced by 30% in Hive City Omega. Production in all mining operations down 60% due to worker weakness. The Hive Mother's antenna twitched with anger. What about replacement shipping companies? All non-human shippers demand payment 3 times higher than human rates. Most refuse to enter dangerous space zones. Delivery times increased from weeks to months. Zithara realized the horrible truth. Her people had never bothered to map the safest routes between their worlds. They had never learned to navigate the radiation fields and asteroid belts that surrounded their territory. They had left all of that to the humans. Now her people were starving because no one else was willing or able to bring them food. Dr. O. Dongmin sat in his laboratory on Earth, reading reports from across the galaxy. As head of the Human Intelligence Service, he had agents everywhere. Most were so deeply undercover that even the aliens they worked beside had no idea they were human. The Altarian Consortium has lost 4 trade routes, reported Agent Park from the Centauri sector. They cannot maintain shipping schedules without human logistics support. The Zalarian Republic is facing equipment failures, added Agent Ko from the Outer Rim. Their terraforming projects have stopped completely. They do not know how to maintain the atmospheric processors that humans designed. The Thesian Empire is requesting emergency medical aid, reported Agent Lim from the Core Worlds. A plague outbreak that should have been contained in days has spread to 6 systems. They cannot produce enough vaccines without human biochemical knowledge. Dr. O studied the reports. Everywhere humans had worked, systems were failing, not dramatically, but like a slow collapse. Trade networks breaking down, technology stopping, food shortages spreading. How are our former research partners doing? O asked. Agent Kim reported from the Terraforming Institute. Complete chaos. They are trying to finish the 17 worlds that Dr. Yoon's team left behind. But they do not understand the soil treatment processes. 3 worlds have already failed. The atmosphere processors are producing toxic gases instead of breathable air. O smiled grimly. The aliens had always claimed that human contributions were minor, that any species could do what humans did, that humans were just following alien instructions. Now they were learning the truth. Supreme Arbiter Velkin called an emergency council session. The great crystal chamber buzzed with worried alien voices. For the first time in decades, the council was facing multiple crises at once. The Crozan Empire reports massive military losses, Velkin announced. The Luminary fleet is suffering systemic failures. The Vorthak hive cities are experiencing food shortages. Trade disruptions are spreading across all sectors. War Prime Thractus slammed his fist on the table. This chaos started when the humans disappeared. We need to find them. Why? Asked Hive Speaker Zan. Humans are a minor species. They cannot be responsible for these problems, Elder Zephyros spoke quietly. Perhaps we underestimated their contributions. The chamber erupted in angry voices. Most aliens refused to believe that humans could be important enough to cause such widespread problems. Our bioships are dying, Zephyros continued. The maintenance cultures that humans provided were more complex than we realized. We cannot reproduce them. Our intelligence networks have collapsed, Thractus admitted reluctantly. The human monitoring systems provided information that we cannot replace. Our food shipments have stopped, Zan said slowly. Human cargo ships went places that other species will not go. One by one, the aliens began to understand. Humans had not been minor contributors to galactic civilization. They had been essential. Where did they go? Velkin asked. Unknown, replied Intelligence Chief Kartok. Human space appears empty. No ships, no communications, no life signs. They cannot have simply vanished, Velkin said. But that is exactly what appeared to have happened. Across 50 human worlds, there were no signs of life. No cities, no ships, no radio signals. Nothing. Perhaps they evacuated to unknown space, suggested Elder Zephyros. Or perhaps something destroyed them, added Thractus. Velkin considered both possibilities. If humans had fled to unknown space, they might eventually return. If something had destroyed them, the galaxy had lost a vital piece of its infrastructure. We must find replacement suppliers for all human services, Velkin decided. That will take years, Zan pointed out, and cost 10 times as much. Then we will pay the cost and take the time, Velkin replied. But privately, the Supreme Arbiter wondered if they had that much time. The galactic economy was already showing signs of collapse. Trade routes were failing, food shortages were spreading. Military conflicts were erupting as old intelligence networks went dark. How long could galactic civilization survive without the humans that no one had thought important? Meanwhile, on the hidden world of New Earth, President Lim Chan Wu read the same intelligence reports that Dr. O was studying. How long should we wait? Asked General Park Soo-jin. Until they learn the full price of ignoring us, Lim replied. Through advanced dimensional technology that the aliens could not even detect, humanity watched their former partners struggle. Every failed terraforming project, every collapsed trade route, every military disaster. The aliens had dismissed humans as minor contributors. Now they were learning what the galaxy looked like without those minor contributions. And the lesson was far from over. In the deepest levels of New Earthsea archives, Dr. Shin Yuri worked on projects that would have amazed the aliens. Faster-than-light travel without fuel, weapons that could destroy planets from other dimensions, shields that made ships completely invisible. Humanity had spent 30 years sharing their knowledge freely with ungrateful aliens. Now they were, keeping their new discoveries to themselves. When they finally returned to galactic civilization, it would not be as ignored observers. Captain Nexus of the Alterian Navy stared at the empty space where Earth should have been. Her scout ship Star Seeker floated in the solar system that had once been humanity's home, but there was nothing there. No planet, no cities, no ships. Not even debris. Scan again, Nexus ordered her science officer. Same result, Captain. No planetary mass, no artificial structures, no life signs. It is as if Earth never existed. Nexus had been searching for humans for 6 months. The Galactic Council had finally admitted they needed humanity back, but first they had to find them. She had visited 50 human colonies and trading posts, all empty, all showing the same impossible result. The humans had not just left. They had taken their entire worlds with them. "Check the gravitational readings," she said. "Gravity patterns are normal for a system with 8 planets, Captain. But we can only detect 7. Nexus felt a chill. According to every database, Earth should be the 3rd planet from the Sun, but there was just empty space where millions of humans had once lived. "Send a message to the Council," she ordered. "The humans are not just missing. They are gone in ways that should be impossible." Supreme Arbiter Velkin received Captain Nexus's report in the Council chambers. Around him, representatives from 12 alien species sat in emergency session. The great crystal room buzzed with worried voices. 2 years had passed since humanity's disappearance. The galaxy was falling apart. "The Crozan Empire has lost 16 star systems," reported Warprime Thractus. "Without intelligence about enemy movements, our armies walk into trap after trap. The Luminari biofleet is down to 30 functional ships," added Elder Zephyros. "Our living vessels continue to die without proper maintenance cultures. Vorthak population has decreased by 50%, said Hive Speaker Zan. "Our remaining Hive cities face complete starvation within months." Velkin looked around the chamber. These were the most powerful species in the galaxy. They controlled vast armies, enormous fleets, and advanced technology. But without humans, they were helpless. "What about replacement suppliers?" Velkin asked. "The Rigelian Consortium offers to provide medical supplies," Thractus replied, "but at 5 times human prices and 1/10 the quality." "The Cetian Republic claims they can maintain bioships," Zephyros said, "but their test treatments killed 3 vessels in the first week." "No one will transport food to our hive worlds," Zan added bitterly. "They say the routes are too dangerous without human navigation data." Velkin felt the weight of his failures. For centuries, the Council had ruled the galaxy with confidence. Now they were begging for help from species they had once considered inferior. "We must find the humans," he declared. "Captain Nexus has searched their entire territory," Thractus pointed out. "They are gone. Perhaps they are dead." "No," Zephyros said quietly. "Dead civilizations leave remains, ships, cities, bodies. The humans left nothing behind. This suggests advanced technology beyond our understanding." The chamber fell silent. None of the aliens wanted to admit that humans might be more advanced than they were. Dr. Yang Haiwan stood on the observation deck of Hidden Station Alpha, watching the search ships pass by. The Alterian vessel Starseeker floated just a few thousand kilometers away, its sensors desperately scanning empty space. The irony was perfect. Captain Nexus was looking directly at a human space station but could not see it. Advanced dimensional shielding made humanity's new civilization completely invisible to alien technology. "Should we reveal ourselves?" asked Dr. Kang Mi-young, the station's commander. "Not yet," Yang replied. "Let them search a bit longer." Through quantum viewing screens, they could see into the alien ship. Captain Nexus looked tired and frustrated. Her crew had been searching for months with no success. "The aliens still do not understand what they lost," Yang observed. "They think humans were simple cargo haulers and medical assistants." "When will they learn the truth?" Kang asked. "When we choose to teach them." On the bridge of Starseeker, Captain Nexus made another report to the Council. "No trace of human presence in the Outer Rim territories. All colonies show the same pattern. Complete disappearance with no physical evidence." "Expand the search," Velkin ordered. "Check every system where humans were known to operate." "Sir, that would require searching 10,000 star systems. My ship cannot cover that much space. Then we will send more ships." Within days, search fleets from every Council species were combing the galaxy for signs of humanity. Crozan War. Ships checked military bases where humans had served. Luminary biovessels searched research stations where human scientists had worked. Vorthak mining ships investigated asteroid fields where human traders had operated. They found nothing. Admiral Kojin Seok watched the search efforts from his command ship in parallel dimensional space. The alien fleets were impressive, but they were looking in the wrong dimension entirely. "They are searching harder than ever," reported his intelligence officer. Good, Ko replied. The more desperate they become, the better terms we can negotiate. Should we contact them, Admiral? No. Let them exhaust themselves first. Ko had been monitoring alien communications for months. The situation was worse than even he had expected. The Crozan Empire was losing wars it should have won easily. The Luminari were facing technological collapse. The Vorthak were dying of starvation. Other species were taking advantage of the chaos. The Rigelian Consortium had seized 3 former Crozan worlds. The Cedian Republic was claiming abandoned Luminary territories. Pirates were raiding shipping lanes that had been safe for decades. The aliens who had once ruled the galaxy were becoming refugees in their own space. On the hidden world of New Sol, President Lim Chan-woo called a meeting of humanity's top leaders. The conference room was filled with the people who had once been ignored observers and minor assistants. The aliens are finally admitting they need us, reported Dr. Oh Dong-min. Their search efforts have tripled in the past month. What are their casualty figures? Asked General Park Soo-jin. Crozan military losses exceed 60%. Luminari population is down 40% due to ship failures. Vorthak deaths from starvation have reached 70% in outer territories. President Lim felt a moment of sadness for the suffering. But then he remembered 30 years of dismissal and contempt. 30 years of taking credit for human work. 30 years of treating humanity like servants. How much longer should we wait? Asked Dr. Shin Yuri. Until they are ready to listen, Lim replied. Not just to our words, but to our demands. What demands? General Park asked. Equal representation in the council. Recognition of human contributions to galactic civilization, compensation for decades of unpaid services, and a guarantee that humanity will never again be treated as a junior partner. The room buzzed with excitement. For 3 decades, these leaders had watched aliens take credit for human achievements. Now they had the power to demand justice. When do we make contact? Dr. O asked. Soon, President Lim said. Very soon. Captain Nexus returned to Nexus Prime after 8 months of searching. Her ship was damaged from pushing through dangerous space zones. Her crew was exhausted from checking thousands of empty systems. Report! Velkin demanded as soon as she entered the council chambers. No trace of humanity in any known location, Nexus replied. We have searched 4,700 systems. Either humans have moved beyond known space, or they possess technology that makes them invisible to our sensors. Invisible technology? Thractus scoffed. Humans were barely capable of basic space travel. Were they? Elder Zephyros asked quietly. The chamber turned to look at the Luminari elder. Zephyros floated higher, his light dimming with what might have been embarrassment. I have been reviewing old reports, Zephyros continued. Humans contributed to projects across the galaxy, medical research, terraforming technology, agricultural improvements, ship design, communication systems, defensive networks. So? Zan asked. I do not think humans were following our instructions. I think we were using their inventions. The chamber erupted in angry voices. No alien wanted to admit that they had been dependent on human innovation. Impossible, Thractus declared. Humans never showed advanced technology. Because we never let them, Zephyros replied. We dismissed their contributions as primitive assistance. But what if their assistance was actually advanced science that we did not understand? Supreme Arbiter Velkin considered this possibility. If humans had been more advanced than anyone realized, their disappearance made sense. An advanced civilization would not tolerate being treated as servants forever. Prepare a galaxy-wide transmission, Velkin ordered. Send it on all frequencies. What message, Supreme Arbiter? Velkin paused. For the first time in his long life, he was about to do something the Council had never done before. Ask for help. Attention, humanity. Wherever you are, the Galactic Council formally requests your return. We acknowledge that we may have undervalued your contributions to galactic civilization. The message was transmitted across the galaxy on every frequency the aliens could access. Radio waves, quantum signals, bioelectrical pulses, and psychic emanations all carried the same desperate plea. On New Sol, President Lim received the transmission and smiled. Finally, he said. They are ready to listen. But listening was just the first step. Now the real negotiations would begin. 5 years had passed since humanity vanished from galactic civilization. The great crystal chambers of Nexus Prime looked different now. Cracks ran through the walls. Several of the massive alien conference tables sat empty because those species no longer existed. Supreme Arbiter. Velkin floated above the remaining council members. His silver form had lost its shine and moved with the slow heaviness of exhaustion. Around him, the survivors of galactic civilization gathered for what might be their final meeting. Only 7 species remained. The proud Crozan Empire controlled just 12 worlds instead of 1,000. The mystical Luminari had 3 functioning bioships left from their once mighty fleet. The industrious Vorthax survived in only 4 hive cities, their population reduced to less than 10% of its original size. "Report on the galactic situation," Velkin commanded. War Prime Thractus, now bearing more scars than medals, stood slowly. "The Crozan Empire officially requests council intervention to stop the Rigelian advance. We have lost our last defensive line in the core sectors." "What military assets can you contribute?" Velkin asked. "None, Supreme Arbiter. Our fleet has been reduced to escort vessels and patrol ships. We lack the intelligence networks needed for military operations." Elder Zephyros spoke next, his light flickering weakly. "The Luminari civilization faces extinction within months. Our biotechnology has completely failed. Our remaining ships are dying, and we cannot repair them." Hive Speaker Zan clicked her mandibles in distress. "The Vorthak hive cities are under siege by the Cetian Republic. Without food shipments, we cannot feed our remaining populations or maintain our defensive systems." Velkin listened to report after report of defeat and collapse. The species that had once ruled the galaxy were now refugees begging for help from neighbors who had already taken most of their territory. "Have we received any response to our messages to humanity?" he asked. "Negative, Supreme Arbiter," replied Intelligence Chief Kartok. "We have transmitted on all known frequencies for 2 years. No response." "Perhaps they are truly gone," suggested a Thesian representative. "Or perhaps they no longer care about our survival," added an Alterian diplomat. Velkin knew the truth was probably worse. Humanity was most likely watching the galactic collapse with satisfaction. After 30 years of being dismissed and ignored, they had no reason to help their former masters. A soft chime filled the chamber. The communication system was receiving a transmission. "This is Ambassador Kim Dae-ho of the Human Federation," came a familiar voice. "We have received your recent messages. We are prepared to discuss the current galactic situation." The chamber fell completely silent. After 5 years of searching and 2 years of desperate messages, the humans had finally responded. "Ambassador Kim," Velkin said carefully, "we welcome your communication. Where have your people been?" "Safe," Kim replied simply. "Away from the chaos that has consumed the galaxy. The Council formally requests humanity's return to galactic civilization. Your people possess knowledge and skills that are badly needed." There was a long pause before Kim responded. "We are aware of the current situation. We have been watching." "Watching?" Thractus demanded. "You have been observing our suffering and doing nothing?" "Yes," Kim said without emotion. "For 30 years we observed yours. We contributed solutions, offered assistance, and shared our knowledge. In return, we were ignored, dismissed, and treated like servants." The aliens in the chamber shifted uncomfortably. None of them wanted to admit how badly they had treated humanity. "We may have undervalued human contributions," Velkin said, carefully. "You took credit for our medical discoveries," Kim continued. "You claimed our terraforming techniques as your own inventions. You used our intelligence networks while calling us primitive. You benefited from our trade routes while treating us like cargo haulers." Elder Zephyros spoke up. "We acknowledge past mistakes, but surely you will not let billions of innocent beings die for the pride of their leaders." "Innocent?" Kim's voice carried a hint of anger. "Every species in that chamber voted to deny humanity equal representation. Every council member supported the decision to treat us as observers rather than partners. Where was your concern for innocent humans who died protecting alien worlds without recognition?" The chamber fell silent again. Several aliens looked at the floor, unable to meet each other's eyes. "What do you want?" Velkin asked finally. Justice, Kim replied, and guarantees that humanity will never again be treated as a junior partner. We agreed to equal representation in the council, Velkin said quickly. Not enough. We want majority representation. Majority? Thractus stood up angrily. You are only one species out of 12. 7, Kim corrected, and after the current war's end, probably fewer. Meanwhile, humanity has grown stronger during our absence. A new image appeared on the chamber's main screen. It showed a massive space station unlike anything the aliens had ever seen, crystalline structures that seemed to bend space around them, ships that appeared to be made of pure energy, technology that was clearly centuries ahead of anything in known space. This is New Geneva Station, Kim explained. One of our smaller outposts. We have built 17 worlds and 43 major stations while you have been busy with other matters. The aliens stared at the impossible technology displayed before them. Humanity had not just survived their exile, they had evolved into something far beyond what anyone had imagined. How? Whispered Zephyros. 30 years of sharing our knowledge freely left us with little motivation to innovate. Once we stopped giving away our discoveries, we began making real progress. President Lim Chan-Woo materialized in the chamber as a holographic projection. The aliens had never seen him before, but his presence filled the room with quiet authority. I am President Lim of the Human Federation, he said. I have been authorized to discuss terms for humanity's return to galactic civilization. Terms? Velkin asked. First, humanity will hold 5 seats on a reformed galactic council. The remaining 7 species will share the other 7 seats. That gives you nearly half the votes, Zan protested. Given that we are the only species not currently facing extinction, we consider this generous, Lim replied. Second, all previous human contributions to galactic civilization will be officially recognized. History books will be corrected to show humanity's true role in developing terraforming medical technology and defense systems. Several aliens started to object, but Velkin waved them silent. Third, humanity will receive compensation for 30 years of unpaid services. Our economists calculate this debt at approximately 2 trillion galactic credits. Impossible, Thractus declared. No species has that much wealth. Then you will pay in territory, resources, and technology, Lim said calmly. Fourth, humanity will control all major trade routes and communication networks. We built them, we maintained them, and we will own them. You are demanding the surrender of galactic civilization, Velkin protested. No, Lim replied. We are offering to save it, but on our terms, not yours. The chamber erupted in angry voices. Several aliens accused humanity of extortion and revenge. Lim waited for the noise to die down before speaking again. You have alternatives, he said. You can reject our terms and continue fighting your wars with primitive technology and broken supply lines. You can keep losing worlds to species that were once your subjects. You can watch your civilizations die in the chaos you created. Or, Velkin asked quietly, or you can accept that the age of alien dominance is over. The galaxy needs leadership, and the only species capable of providing it is humanity. The aliens looked around the damaged chamber. Through the cracked crystal walls, they could see the fires of distant wars. The galaxy they had once ruled was destroying itself. We need time to consider your offer, Velkin said. You have 1 hour, Lim replied. After that, we return to our own space and leave you to solve your problems alone. The hologram disappeared, leaving the aliens to debate among themselves. Exactly 1 hour later, Supreme Arbiter Velkin activated the communication system. The Council accepts your terms, he said. Excellent, came Kim's voice. Prepare for humanity's return. Across the galaxy, dimensional gates began opening. Human ships emerged from parallel space like ghosts becoming solid. Massive vessels that dwarfed anything the aliens had ever built took positions around major worlds. On Nexus Prime, the crystal chamber was expanded and rebuilt. The human delegation area was moved to the center of the room, elevated above all other seats. New technology installed by human engineers made the old alien systems look like primitive toys. Ambassador Kim Dae-ho walked through the same crystal hallway he had used for 30 years. But this time, alien representatives lined the walls, bowing respectfully as he passed. The great chamber buzzed with activity as humans took their place as the galaxy's new leaders. Alien delegates waited patiently for permission to speak. Kim took his seat at the center table and looked around the room. The decorative plant that had replaced humanity's observer chair was gone, replaced by a memorial plaque. They ignored us until ignoring us became impossible, Kim read aloud. Supreme Arbiter Velkin floated forward. Ambassador Kim, the Council is ready to begin the new session. President Kim, the human corrected, I am no longer an observer. Of course, President. Kim, how shall we proceed?